Today's adventure in the Yucatan in Mexico takes Richard Lark, Kelly, and I to the archaeological site Coba. We saw what I thought was a turkey.
Kelly running from a turkey.
It chased Kelly around, and well, it was kind of aggressive with me too, but I guess it's actually some sort of peacock. The first ruins are as soon as you get in the site.
Okay, Kelly, where are we at?
We are at the Conjunto Pinturas Pyramid in Coba.
State?
Quintana Roo or Yucatan? I think Quintana Roo.
Country?
Mexico.
We are in the state of Quintana Roo, even though this is the Yucatan Peninsula. The site is 28 miles from the coast, and this is the first set of ruins that you come to. I'm not going to try to pronounce any of these names this time because I always butcher them. But I believe this actually was a church, iglesia, some sort of spiritual site. And if you proceed down the road about 2 miles, you'll come to the tallest pyramid in the Yucatan, even taller than the one at Chichen Itza. But like the one at Chichen Itza, you can no longer climb it. But it's spectacular walking around, seeing the pyramids. Not only do I wonder what life was like 2,000 years ago when people lived here, but what was the site like in the 1800s when the first explorers came here? First picture of this site was in about 1890. But in reality, there were no paved roads to this site till about 1980. So, with the opening of Cancun and the Maya Riviera, there's that bird. Back in the 1970s, I thought this would be a great tourist site. In some of the early years when I came here, there weren't near as many tourists. But I did see that in 2017, they had almost 750,000 tourists come to the site. Of course, at that time, you could still climb the highest pyramid. During COVID in 2019, they had stopped you from climbing the pyramid. I don't know if it will ever open again. Like I said in one of my previous videos, when you have the opportunity to do something, you need to jump on it. Because just because you could do it now doesn't mean that if you return or ever come back again, that you'll have that same opportunity. So, take the time to explore everything and really immerse yourself in the experience. One of Coba's claims to fame were the series of roads, white rock stuccoed roads. One of the roads went 60 miles, but they provided trading routes through all the neighboring communities. This ball field, or ball court, which was common throughout Mesoamerica, is one of 2 on this site. There have been over 1,300 ball courts similar to this, found in what's
I think
classified as
spectacular.
Mesoamerica.
I think I'm just glad I'm away from
They
it.
vary in size, but it obviously was a popular game, the rules of which are not fully known, but they do know they had a rubber ball and they used their hips, and there's debate on what
It's
else.
like they couldn't use their hands. They had
Apparently to
just
try
use
to
their-
get the ball through those hoops. There also was debate on whether the captain of the winning team or the losing team was beheaded. I guess in some of the big games, obviously there's a spiritual aspect to the game, religious rituals, and at first they thought that the losing captain was beheaded as a result of losing, but then they changed their mind and said that it was the captain of the winning team that was beheaded because it was such a privilege. So I don't know what happened, but I don't want to play any games where the stakes are getting beheaded. Some of the stelas or rock slabs found in sight also describe religious ceremonies, sacrifice such as bloodletting. The ruling elites would use an obsidian knife or stingray spine to cut or pierce their earlobe, tongue, or other part of their body. And if you think this ritual was only done by the male rulers, you'd be wrong. The females also practiced this form of sacrifice. Coba, which is one of the few archaeological sites which actually retained its Mayan name, was one of the most powerful and largest cities in the Yucatan Peninsula until the emergence of Chichen Itza, which overpowered it in, I don't know, around 700 AD or CE if you prefer. The peak population of the city was thought to be over 50,000 people. Here, I try to show my head getting cut off. There I was, and then I'm gone. That didn't really work.
It's going now. I think it's going.
We were at Coba.
How come you don't have the director's cut? We are at Coba.
Cut off my head.
Jerry's been beheaded.
You guys gotta do something. We did. We waved. Nothing. Stop it.
Yeah, that was pretty lame. So let's get back to something more interesting. The ball courts again.
Okay, everyone, look this way. Where are we at, Lar?
Coba.
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 And what are we seeing here, Kelly?
We are seeing the ball field that they played on.
And there's
The goal.
It's crazy how much smaller this court is than the one at Chichen Itza. Seems like it would have been almost an entirely different game. There's one of the Stellas, Richard and Lark, taking a picture of it. Some of these actually had dates where they can go back and determine exact dates of when these things occurred. How? I'm not quite sure. But the other thing, if you want to go to the largest ruins, the largest pyramid, it's almost 2 miles there.
Not being rebuilt.
And there's another road going off to another pyramid.
Yep.
So what I recommend is you splurge for the $5 to get a bicycle, because it'll save you a lot of time in walking and a lot of energy. And so I didn't have to carry my backpack. I got that little girl's bike with the little straw basket. Bike was kind of small, seat kind of low, but still beats walking, and for $5, it was well worth it. Not bad for a old guy. Look at me go. You've probably also seen those things that kind of look like a tricycle go by. And if you're not comfortable riding a bike and you don't want to walk, you can have one of the guides put you on the tricycle and he'll pedal for you and take you to this spectacular pyramid that we're about to see. As we come out of the forest after parking our bike, oh, that's not the one I thought it was going to be, but this is still a cool pyramid. I can't pronounce the name of this one either, so I won't even try. But it's rounded, kind of cool looking. Richard and Lark, looking at some of the stone carvings that are protected by the awnings there, the canopies. There, Kelly walks up to it.
We're on video. There's Lark. You're the point of that. Whoa!
There's one of the ones the trail you can hike down, but you can't take a bike.
Yeah, when you're walking, it gets kind of frustrating, all these bicycles, but they do have some paths that are only for walkers. So the advantage of walking is you have more time to just kind of observe the plants and vegetation. Like I said, I can pronounce the Mayan or Spanish words because I can barely pronounce English words. But I much prefer riding the bike now. It makes it a lot less tiring. You just park it and then you hike to whatever ruin you're going to see. They have little designated parking spaces for all the bikes.
Hello, people of the world. That thing's following me, Jerry.
The pyramid we're approaching now is the tallest on the Yucatan Peninsula, even taller than the one at Chichen Itza.
Fancy
It's
dancy.
120 steps, and it's 137 feet tall. Is your anticipation building until you really get your first good glimpse? There it is. As we get into the clearing, and you'll notice there's not near as many people as even the time we were here last. And of course, one of the reasons is that you no longer can climb those 120 steps to the top. But I interfere with the Instagram girl there getting her picture and do my own little picture there. It's hard to believe that's the tallest pyramid because based on this angle it just doesn't quite look like it. But as Kelly walks up, it gives you a little bit better perspective of the size and scope, and then that's Lark walking up on the right side. but it's an impressive pyramid. Few pictures show perspective. There's Kelly taking a selfie, and I had him take a picture of me there. Fortunately, couldn't line it up perfect, but he takes multiple pictures, and eventually one will get there. There's Richard, Lark, and Kelly, and we are at
Coba.
the main pyramid. I think it is also called the Castle El Castillo.
I'm gonna come there. Yeah.
We're there. I'm actually taking a video.
Oh. And peace.
Lark, do something.
Where's Lark? Lark's right there.
We rode our bikes all the way out here, so we got to take a number of pictures to, I guess, prove that we were actually there. And when I was talking, this one isn't one that is actually called the castle, but it was a religious temple. And it looks like now I've moved on to another site. In all, we probably rode our bikes about 5 miles, saving considerable time and energy. And of course, we can hop off our bikes anytime we see something interesting. Maybe a tree.
Just interesting bark. It's a shame we don't have a tree expert here that could tell us what kind of tree this is.
It's an interesting bark tree.
That's
An
our
IBT.
tree expert.
It's interesting to see the trees just growing through the middle of the ruins. And then this spot was interesting. Kind of all these tree roots coming down.
Crazy tree.
Almost like some sort of fortress, or I don't know what to say. But here I'm going to walk into the middle of them. Whoa! Wow! So cool. Trees, roots, branches make for a spectacular view. Like you're walking through the enchanted forest, or I don't know, whatever weird places we've talked about and discussed.
Turn it the
There's
other way. Get it
Richard
as wide
Lark,
as
and
you can
there's
for
Kelly
the maximum
getting his
effect.
picture with them in there. We all had to take our turn walking in and getting our photos amongst the tree roots. I like this view from up above, looking down on me. Just a cool place. Just not sure what you'll see. Lark found this leaf. What the heck is that? There's one of the Stellas Richard and Lark are standing by.
We found a monkey. And we're right here at the ruins.
Peace.
Yep, that's Kelly Paul.
You may actually find a monkey in the forest here, but all we found was Kelly. My brother Richard's probably in better shape than me, even though he's almost 72. He climbs up and down where you can and hikes. And I asked him what the secret to being in shape is. And he said, well, when I first got married, I told Lark that if we ever have an argument, whoever loses the argument has to walk 5 miles. He said, every day since then, I've walked 5 miles. I said, well, that explains why you're in good shape, but how about Lark? He said, well, she follows me to make sure I do it. Hope you enjoyed our video. Have a great day. And yeah, we'll be back with another one. Bye.